The Mothman. There is no age, there is no time. I live between the dimensions that hold such concepts. I witness all form between the space that is divided by atoms. I exist within the quarks that separate you from the chair that you sit on. I see the multitude of living universes that live in each organism. I am chaos, I am creation. I am the conduit to transfer information from one source to another. If I am seen, a curse of disbelief, fear, madness sets in, a permanent disruption to the function of that organism. If I am to breathe but one breath, the winds of the world would collapse all structures. If I was to take flight, one flap of my wings would cause hurricanes, tornadoes. If I was to land upon the earth, the ground would tremble, quake, break with the exploding of volcanoes. So here I hide between the dimensions, witness to all and involved in none. I try to warn indirectly by taking form of a moth, a passing shadow, a disembodied voice, a dream you can't remember. I am to blame. It was my warning of the oncoming calamity, the carnage to avoid, the chaos, the loss of life, but my warnings really heard. So, a witness I've became, watching, waiting, telling stories to those whom will listen, a hint turned into a passion, a thought turned to activism, a phone call to change a course of events. I'll show you the multiple universes that dwell beyond your own, where I am in each reflection different to its own, in opposites, but none of these reflections are the same. Logic does not apply. One world you live in the other world you die, yet in another you never existed, so realities leading to endless possibilities. I am chaos, I am creation, I am everything that lives between the reflections of space and time. I am Mothman. Ryan Dillon Brassington, November 11, 21. The entity of reminiscence. To start, I remember asking for it when I was alive, requesting the devoted duty in my afterlife. I imagined to be the entity that brings the reminiscing memories through smell, a scent, a lingering mist of invisible reminders of their past, memories good and bad, young and old, smelt with stories of the untold, played out from a section of the brain and projected like a movie on a screen, the projection for my personal viewing, memoria. I imagined to be invisible. I imagine I would be an entity of physical proportion, and yet I hold no mass, moving with the winds into open doorways. Just to be an entity like this was a passing though, when I was reminded of a time, a past event, set off by a certain smell while reminiscing on memories of a childhood milkshake, caramel, just to be informative. Then the second thought began to unfold. What was someone or something had been? Listening, maybe even watching the memories of these emotions just as I imagined. The projected memories on show, creating a motion picture. I think to myself, that would be a cool job in the afterlife. It would beat being the reaper of death, the entity of death itself, surrounded by so much fear, sadness, anguish, regret. I'd much rather be the watcher of memories, bringer of faded emotions brought to the surface by a simple scent, wishing such duty upon myself in a trail of passing thoughts. Thoughts were influenced by the entity's presence and the human's ability of sensitivity. Now here on my deathbed, hovering between life and death, it came to me, a first, a waking dream of shadows and colors, then followed by a smell that reminds me of my first apprenticeship, a scent from when I was younger, working hard for a career in engineering, reminiscing of the smell of oily rags and grease, stained clothes, a reminder of a time when I was more confident, energetic and had so much to learn, a time in my life that I know to be to the best times, young in heart and in soul. For The corner of the room something began to take shape, a subsonic vibration I could only feel with the hairs of my arms standing on end. The entity is trying to communicate. The feeling that I am young, I am confident, with a lot to learn, a place to earn, came over me like a wave of inspiration. From the corner of my room, I see the dreamlike entity becoming clearer in sight, coming into focus, a man's silhouette at first, then I could see a man taking form. As more of his features became visible, my own body faded into nothingness. Noticed as my hand fades, his becomes visible. We were trading places. The man taking full shape of a solid mass, as I metamorphoses into the entity he once was. He smiles as we connect eyes before I'm lifted in the sky, high and higher, entering and connecting to all streams of memories. Like water, the emotional memories give me sustenance, the projected films of motion's pictures, sucked up and into my chest, like fresh air on the forest floor. I watch the memories to survive. I make you remember to emotionally relive the past for my own hunger. Starved, I crave the memories you reminisce. It's a lust, a drive to consume. I must eat the memories of your yesterday, of your past. You can keep the original to revisit at any time. So once again we can reminisce, eat a favorite fruit, your memories like a fruiting tree. I'll enjoy a feast while you're reliving such memories triggered by the scent for scent. Adorned with these duties as my own, my physical body fades into the earth as I'm lifted up and away, higher and higher, way above the earth, an emotion that it is all connected, a living consciousness cluster of abundant life, any action a memory, ready for documenting life in all its intricate detail. Within the grey matter of the human brain, a place where not every memory is a good one, neither safe for reminiscing, staining the brain with unforgettable tragedies. My profound joy comes when I'm reminding the old and frail of a time when they were young and full of life, smothered in good emotions before their eventual passing, before they are led by the reaper of death to the path of final judgment, led to the lake of shadows. I am the entity I wish to be, a wish made in a passing thought, a thought that entertained these abilities. I am now this entity of memory's digestion, the entity of reminiscence that feed on past events. Now I understand the previous entity that formed before my eyes was listening so many years ago, patiently waiting for its opportunity, a time for an exit, a retirement from such duties, an escape from the eternal routine of staying alive in the form that is, a being, an entity of energy feeding on the memories of old by sent for glory to survive. I would not wish immortality upon any man. Ryan Dylan Brassington, April 26, 22. The real stories of the Australian Yowie. True stories with no lies. The Australian Yowie Hunters, YouTube stories direct from personal experiences. The Yowie is real. It lives in the fifth dimension. It hunts and bats within the fourth dimension, our dimension. Living in a place beyond, a place out of human access. They are thought to be a variety of primitive primates that survive in the wilds of wilderness, surpassing world cataclysms by staying deep within the naked forest and not only living but thriving. Between the mediums that still eludes humans, dimensions in barriers of colliding windows, these Yowie beings somehow easily access the worlds between worlds, visible for one moment then gone. After any confrontation they simply disappear, surviving by stepping through another window into a safer dimension that humans are yet to comprehend. A stage of evolution set a different path, the path to survive, a path of isolation, stepping between dimensions. A creature has evolved or is evolving, rare in change, a beast-like being, mixed with the features of man, a Neanderthal or lost species or aliens living the isolation of the bushlands, a lost family of human that they evolved, No one really knows because they still elude any human recognition. Most reports consist of a really bad smell emanating from the beast. The smell so bad your lungs fill up with an intoxicating stench, shocking the body into fight or flight mode, some report just being frozen on the spot. The musk potent with a death-like pungent smell. Almost all witnesses state the being walked upright, until noticed, either standing still and blending with the trees. Others report it swats down hiding within the shrubs, but scariest of all is it screams, followed by it chasing you, the intruder. It jumps to the ground like a four-legged spider running towards you with a crushing intensity. As always, its size is indescribable, its mass larger than any man. The silhouette of the being takes up the moon's light. People diapering in the forest or living to tell a story that so many others have told, all stories with overwhelming coincidental patterns and definition meeting a similar end. The Yowie hunters of Australia have begun to document the accounts of everyday Australians whom come forward with their experiences. To further describe what is common between each shaky, nervous voice, that being it has been reported in many accounts of red like hair, long thick sometimes black, glowing eyes that seem to soak up any light, no neck, no ears, solid, a massive mass, with a low brow, a flat noise. Some seen by humans might look like children and may act like it too, a childlike being just wanting to play in the sun and river waters. The parentals ready scare away the dangerous human, scaring you off with the most engulfing noise, a noise that bellows from its chest, just like a whale's call, but the engulfing echo is on land. The trembling sound shocks you with vibration. An ear-piercing intensity easily has you in reaction mode of fight or flight as the being then stalking you. Coming ever so closer to you, the beastie being pushing trees aside like toothpicks. The being in protective for defense is the only time it makes a noise, otherwise it travels without sound. For such a massive beast nothing is heard on most interactions, all the forest falling to the silence before, during or after. For a moment all the sound is sucked away, as your ears listen for the breaking of a twig, the twitch of a bird, or the scuff in the rough foliage of something moving on the forest floor. Your heart pounding, questioning as to what you just saw, curiosity, fear, wonder of the beast-like being. My admiration goes out for those coming forward for their story to be told. I am a long-time listener, however, I am yet to experience the Yowie encounter in real life. Not sure what I'd do if I did just as many others. I empathize and I am truly glad you're alive and survived. Thank you all that have had the courage to share your story of this close encounter, a close encounter with such an alluring being that still has no formal record except for the Yowie Hunter of Australia on YouTube and by web. Please support and share their information. Even I myself am writing this as a fan. Thank you so much. Well done on such great documentation, full of inspiration and celebration of our great land. This is Australia. The Yowie is real. Your fan. Ryan Dylan Brassington, February 5, 22.